Good morning, Bears. Let's get the show started. Day 2 of Christmas week. A little bit of a recap of yesterday because yesterday my video failed. So this will give you a quick overview of what you should have done yesterday and to get us started today learning about the life of Jesus, ancient times. We are back 2,020 years ago at the time of when the BC era, before Common Era, turned into AD, and that time they did not use those kind of clocks back then, but later on during the Roman Empire they changed the clocks and they started basing things around the life of Jesus, and that's why about 2020 our calendar, our date, and a lot of those things are based around, including Christmas and our vacation, the Christian holiday called Christmas. Let's get into it. Let's get going. Remember, this semester is about to be over. All this stuff will be archived. You will have access to all of your slides and everything we've done because we do it through Google Slides. And those Google Slides are available for you just by logging in with your school ID. Don't forget that once this is gone. But as far as turning stuff in, this Friday is it. This assignment, the goal is to have it turned in Thursday. Now, we're in history, the White Bears, Christmas week, origin geography. Remember, all your old assignments are listed, some of them in these folders. I quit doing the folders because they were confusing. So now if you scroll down, you just see all these past assignments. Next semester, we're just going to keep them up like this. Easy weasy. Go down, you find the assignment you need to work on, you work on it, you click submit. If you're in the week that we're in like this, it's always to the right. Christmas week number 1, origins. Now let's see who's opened their slideshows. Melody, yay! And she's doing a slideshow. She's going to get her C for the semester. I love it, Melody. Thank you. Let's see how Jen's doing. Jen's got to get some work done, but it is there. So this is what your slideshow looks like yesterday when I shared it. And you'll see some people that have already been working on it. But just in case you're just getting started, remember these are concepts. You add these concepts in, and then you put some information, you do research, and you create a slide about each concept. Let's take a look at somebody that maybe has done that. Melody had started. Oh, Jordan hasn't opened his. Let's go down to Angela. She always has a lovely slideshow going, I think. Yep, there she goes. So she has noticed she's getting her visual evidence, her cited research first, and notice each slide. Jerusalem is a slide, Bethlehem is a slide, Canaan is a slide. These are ancient texts, Isaiah 3, 4, 500 BC, that these prophecies were written, and these are part of the Jewish Bible called the Torah, as we all know. And then here's a map of ancient Christianity, fantastic. As we saw in the video in yesterday's groups, you get a nice little overview of this area. Jesus, notice Christ. Now this is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's an individual religion that is considered a Christian religion. They do have different beliefs than like a Catholic or a Reformed, but they are known that. So this is the LDS Church or Mormon Church, non-Trinitarian. We're not going to get that deep into that yet. Christian Restorationist Church that considers itself to be the restoration of the original church founded by Jesus Christ. Interesting. So, that's what we called I want to call it a religion. Christianity is a broad religion. Within Christianity, we have different forms of it. Roman Catholicism, a lot of people consider that the true church from Rome. Then we have the Reformation. You'll learn about that in 7th and 8th grade. And then Mormons, I think it's 1800s, late 1800s, started to say that maybe the teachings were wrong, and they came up with some of their own teachings. So there's a lot of different beliefs, I'm trying to think of the word, denominations you might call it, in the Christian worldview. We're not going to go into all that. It's too much. We're talking about the ancient Christianity and where it started. Christmas star, pretty cool. Different versions of this even. We've got the 2 planets aligning on December 21st. But then we also say some people might have seen a supernova, and so there's different views even on that. That's kind of the goal of our class, remember, is discovering different sides, doing our own research, and finding out information. Let's see if we can find somebody who's got some pictures going for fun. Looks like Emma's off to a good start. Let's take a look at this. So our Monday goal is to have your pictures done. Notice, here's our directions. And I had put that in there, so here's what we're doing this week. Today is pretty simple. We're going to look for culture clues in a high production video. So it's a secondary source. And the secondary source, though, is giving a visual representation while reading the primary source, the text of a biblical passage. So it's a primary source, the ancient text, written 60, 50, maybe 70 AD, 30, 40 years after Jesus, based on stories that were told, though, from Jesus' time. So that's our primary source. And then we're going to watch a video, which is a secondary source because somebody made a movie based on those words. And we'll dive into that in just a second. So once again, she's got her concepts. Looks fantastic. Don't forget, this is your basic, how to write a CER. And here we go. Christianity. Christianity is an Abrahamic monotheistic. Remember, we learned about polytheism with Egypt, multiple gods. Some people, well, I think pretty much everybody considers Mormonism, the one we just studied, is not monotheistic because they actually have belief systems in multiple gods, but they might call themselves monotheistic because they do believe in one higher God, but by definition, they may be polytheistic. So Abrahamic Judaism is mono, one God. Religion based on the life and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. Its adherents, known as Christians, believe that Jesus is the Christ, whose coming as the Messiah was prophesied in the Hebrew Bible, otherwise known as the Torah, and we call that, in the Christian world, they call that the Old Testament in Christianity, and chronicled in the New Testament. It is the world's largest religion with about 2.4 billion followers as of 2020. Good research. I was wondering that. Christians make up a majority of the population in 157 countries and territories. So I was not sure if it was Islam or Christianity or even Hinduism, because those three are probably the three largest as far as people go. But here we go, 2.4 billion as of 2020. Great research, recent research, good job. So each day we're going to dive into a different one of these slides. Notice Israel is the area. We're going to study this area in depth after Christmas. And we're going to learn about Joseph and Moses and all the different things that went on in Israel. We jumped ahead a little more recent in time due to the Christmas holidays. Jerusalem, very important place. This is a picture of Jerusalem today. Now, lots of history there. Islam, Muslims took this over at one point, and so then they claimed it as their holy site because they are an Abrahamic religion. It's interesting that both Islam, being Muslims, and Jewish people and Christians all hold to the Torah as the Word of God, yet they have so much conflict because of the different ways they think it unfolded. We're not going to dive into that much, but there's a lot of conflict around Jerusalem right now. Jerusalem is where the temple was. The temple was destroyed in AD 70, 40 years after Jesus died. Many people think a lot of the New Testament and a lot of the Old Testament prophecies were fulfilled at that AD 70. Lots of discussions on that. Many people think the temple will be rebuilt, and that's a whole new game. Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, or not born, was he born there? Yeah, born there, but not from there. Canaan, the general area, we're going to study that after Christmas. Isaiah is the text, Old Testament text, that seemingly predicts the birth of Jesus. I say seemingly because not everybody believes that. And then another one, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Controversial statement right here. If this was Jesus, then is he God? Well, what about God the Father? What about this monotheism thing? Sounds like two gods. No, he is that person, and that's something called the Trinity. We will not dive that much into that because it gets a little complicated. We're just looking at the history of the text. Luke chapter 2. The pool just started. We're going to dive into this right now. Let's go check this out and see if we can find a primary source created into a high-level movie, and let's learn about the ancient times the fun way. Here we go. All right. Okay, you even get a little space in here. Universe. So what this is the Gospel of Luke, narrated exactly as it is written. So that's a primary source. Obviously, they didn't have video cameras back in the day to go up in space and create all this cinematic stuff. So that's a secondary source. We're going to see where they corroborate. So remember, corroborate means working together, and we're also going to learn about the culture. So you're not going to get through this whole video by Friday. We're going to take little chunks. And we also only want to do the life of Jesus. We're not going to do the intense stuff. That comes at Easter. And that's a whole different lesson on that. And that's when we start diving into the Roman Empire, because that's huge. And the spread of Christianity, which takes us into Greece, the Roman Empire, and a lot of the after AD ancient world. But right now, we're just going to do the beginning of the movie. We'll take sections. If you want to watch the whole thing, I'm going to put the link in our groups. Watch it at your leisure, and we will watch sections each day. So here we go, the life of Jesus, based on a primary source, Luke, who was a doctor, who put this together after Jesus had already died, hearing the different stories, doing his research like a historian, like we do, and putting together a story to tell the life of Jesus. Lots of debates about how it was told, which is how much is accurate and things like that. But this is a primary source from that time period, and we want to dive into the culture and the origins of Christianity. So here we go. I'm going to go play this from groups. I'm not going to play it during our video, so I'm going to stop the video now, and we will go to play that, and we'll come back and take some notes. All right, try to get to, we made it to about 15 minutes here.
And the rough paths made smooth.
Now look what we can learn about right here from this Roman Empire. They have shields, they have pretty strong helmets, they carry spears. We can see how people dress.
And all man.
This is a religious ritual that if you listen to the words, you might be able to even infer what is happening here. I want you to do that on your own. So we went to a 15-minute mark. Now, I want you to write 3 culture clues, any of the grapes: geography, religion, accomplishments. Remember, accomplishments could be the weapons, the spears, what they used, tools, pottery, what were their houses made of. Remember, yesterday's video gave us some clues on their houses. A lot of people think Jesus is a carpenter working with a lot of wood. They didn't have that much wood, so he probably was more of a builder. Yes, he worked with wood, but also stones. So what are some of the things you as a historian can learn from the secondary source, also from the primary source, the actual words? Remember, the words you're hearing, primary source, they were written 2,000 years ago. The visual was made 20 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever they made this movie. But we assume that secondary source, those historians, did their homework so we can learn about that culture. So pretty simple assignment today. Top slide, 3 things you learned from these first 15 minutes of this video. Write it in your top slide, and then make sure you catch up on your other slides so they look like Emma's. All right, get to work. Fun learning about this stuff. Hopefully you're in Zoom, but if not, you should be able to get it done with this. Don't forget, this video is the link in groups. Watch up to 15 minutes, culture clues. Here we go.